Okay, let's get started here with Chapter 9 and balancing chemical equations. In this part and in this presentation, I guess, I'm going to sort of assume that you'll understand how to write the skeleton equation. Basically, I'm just going to be reviewing how to balance these equations. So if you look at number 17, we have solid mercury 2 oxide breaks down when heated, forming the elements mercury and oxygen. So here I have my skeleton equation. This is basically the equation that you read and you write it down, knowing that you will need to balance it afterwards. So if we look at this skeleton equation, we have one mercury on the left of the arrow, we have one on the right. Mercury is balanced. Oxygen is not. We have one on the left, but we have two oxygens on the right. So we need to balance this so that we have equal numbers on either side. So I'm going to rewrite this equation and we're going to put in our coefficients that will balance it. So we have HgO, and this is a decomposition reaction because we have a compound that goes through a reaction and separates into its own components. So again, we said mercury was balanced, but we don't have the same number of oxygens. So if I put a 2 in front of the HgO, that will give me 2 oxygens. So I'm balanced, right? I have 2 oxygens on this side. I have 2 oxygens over here, so I'm good to go. Well, you're good to go with oxygens, but now this changes the amount of mercury we have on the left side. We have 2 over here. So in order to complete the balancing, we have to put a 2 on this side as well, and that would be balancing that equation, okay? So that's kind of your beginner balancing equation. It's pretty simple. Now if we go to the next one, we have sodium metal reacts with water vapor in air to form solid sodium hydroxide and hydrogen. So here's our skeleton equation, and in order to balance this, the tricky part with this one is when you see an OH, because it gives you 3 H's on the right hand side and only 2 on the left. So sometimes you'll just have to start putting coefficients in, see what happens. Don't erase and put different numbers in, and basically don't stop until you get the same amount on both sides. So if we have Na plus H2O, that will give me sodium hydroxide plus H2. So in order to balance this, let's start by, I know that we have 3 on the right, 3 hydrogens, and we have 2 on the left. So if we just put a 2 in front of here, let's see what that does. That has, now we have 4 hydrogens on the left hand side, and we have 3 over here. So let's say I put a 2 here. Now I have 4 hydrogens on the right, 4 hydrogens on the left, okay? So that balances my hydrogens, but remember from above, we have this 2 in front of our sodium as well. So now we need to put the 2 here, and that is balanced. Okay, so you just have to sometimes, even if you're working towards balancing a certain element, it may affect another element in that compound, so you need to go back and make sure what you added didn't change anything, or else add more so that you can make sure you're balanced. So let's just go to the last one here. We have number 19. In the first step of refining zinc metal from its zinc sulfide ore, the ore is heated in the presence of oxygen. The products are solid zinc oxide and sulfur dioxide gas. Okay, so let's get our skeleton equation here. Basically, we have the same amount of zinc on either side. So that's balanced. We have the same amount of sulfur, and it's basically our oxygens that we are missing. So let's rewrite it. ZnS plus O2 gives me ZnO plus SO2. Okay, so we have 2 oxygens on the left-hand side. We have 3 on the right-hand side. So similar to the one we had above, similar to number 18. So if I put a 2 in front of zinc oxide, I will have now 4 oxygens on the right-hand side, correct? So now I can put a 2 over here. That balances my oxygens. Now we have to look at this on the right here. Now we have 2 zinc, so I need to put a 2 here as well. And that affects the sulfur over on the left-hand side, meaning we have to put a 2 on this side. So let's see here. Actually, we have 4 oxygen plus 6. So actually, my mistake, we're going to make this into a 3. Okay. I believe that's correct. So now we have 2 zinc. We have 2 sulfur on the left, 2 sulfur on the right. We have 6 oxygens on the left, and we have 6 oxygen on the right. Okay, so as you can see, sometimes you have to continue on and keep its trial and error with these things, but as long as you have the correct skeleton equation, you will be able to balance it, and it may take some time, but keep going, and that's why I'm here, so ask me questions.